hear this station, this signal, good morning to you. This is the Power Hour coming to you live from 900 AM, 96.1 FM, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, the Google App Store, the iTunes App Store, WURDradio.com. From a tin can and a string, from someone who is using someone else's electricity to keep their power on during the pandemic. We're coming to you from a lot of different places. It's the Power Hour. Sitting across from me is Dwayne David Royster.
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
And as we say each day, the glue that holds it all together in studio, I mean, just doing all kind of stuff back in there, is none other than Kawesa.
Good morning. How are you both?
What's up?
Not too
Doing
much.
all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
And how are you doing? How was your ride in this morning?
It wasn't too bad. Almost got into a slight fender bender because somebody was not obeying the rules of the traffic. Not me, of course. It was the other person. But I made it. I'm good. God was over me, and it was all good.
That is awesome. And how was the temperature out there?
It's still cold. I walk out of my house every morning just angry.
Oh,
I hate being cold. I'm like, isn't it the middle of March? Can't we just warm up a little bit? A smidge. I'm tired of my gloves.
It's almost over. It's almost over.
you said that weather just makes you mad, huh,
It
Kawesa?
does, just a little bit. Like, it's that kind of, I don't know, it's that scowling weather. I don't know.
Just a couple more weeks, and we will break this cold snap, and we will begin to feel the warmth comfort us through the air, and we will begin to feel the sun beating down on us once again, and life will feel afresh and anew.
If you say so.
I'm saying so. I'm like, look, Kawesa will come in the morning, and then eventually get to the point you walk outside, it's 90 degrees outside, car is hot, everything is hot, you're sweating on the way here. You will eventually get to that place as well.
That's true. That's true.
There you go. Well, until then, stay warm, folks, and do that by listening to this show.
There you go.
Pull up near the heater, and tune in, and be so kind as to hit the share button on Facebook Live if you are enjoying the show there. In fact, let me do the same thing. Let me do as I say, not I'll actually do as I don't know. You know what I mean. Do as you do.
Don't do as I
say,
say, that I do. Yes. We got you.
it doesn't quite work the way that I was trying to make it work, but you get it. So just hit the share button. That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
doing right now. There it is. It's done.
Yes.
It's absolutely done. I was laughing on Sunday when I did got to the offering in our worship service, which is still virtual. We have not yet come into the building, and that's probably a little bit of ways for us, but our folk are not complaining. And said, I'm about to do the offering right now. There it is. I just gave my offering. Everybody just gave the offering, and it occurred to me there's going to be some mad ushers when we get back. What are ushers going to do?
Well, I mean, so do you have virtual? So actually, I was on a call last night about this with my congregation, and I've been meaning to talk to them about this for a while, but I'm like, we need some virtual ushers that are handling the social media space, right? That are reminding folk that they can give, put their, electronic giving information up, that are checking in with folk, helping them get situated in the social media space. Because there's always somebody that comes on and starts asking questions on the thread when you get in there, like, what did I miss, whatever. So, we need some virtual ushers that can handle the social media.
Well, we're good there. I mean, we're in fact, part of what I've been thinking about is bringing on a digital associate minister.
There you go.
But our social media piece is really good. But I mean, but somebody who can really kind of tend to that group,
Right.
because at the end of the day, the way that we have started doing streaming, nobody's going to go back to what it used to be.
Hmm.
So what live streaming used to be was you'd have a stationary camera. And if you were lucky, you'd have a secondary camera, somebody, moving around. But if you think about it, even like the biggest churches, their live stream was nothing more than just cameras filming what was happening inside their building on Sunday,
Right.
or whenever your time of worship is.
Hmm.
But ain't nobody gonna watch that anymore. Church has become a real production. I mean, many of us as pastors have added to our resume, director,
Yep.
Producer,
Yep.
tech person.
Yep.
And so, I mean, if you look at our service, for example, I love it now because we actually went out and we paid to have a lot of music done professionally. And these are mostly our singers, but but it's more like a video, right?
Hmm.
And so it's really powerful and impactful. And we can get in and out in 45 minutes to an hour, the whole service. So now I'm thinking, so I'm going to have to build a little studio where I can preach the sermon in advance
Hmm.
and package it so that that experience is the same for people who worship with us online, but they're still getting essentially the same messaging that everyone else would get on that Sunday morning,
Right.
but differently. Because again, I don't know who wants to go back now and just sit and watch, you know, us do the announcements on Sunday like we do in person. It's fine in person, but online, it's going to be kind of boring now, don't you think?
Well, I mean, we actually do the announcements, but we have a whole PowerPoint presentation that goes along with the announcements. So while the announcements are there, people can actually pull it up. And then we're probably going to start posting the announcements during the week too, so people can go back to them. But yeah, I mean, we do it a little bit differently than you do. You're super techie. We have Zoom that we do, but I mean, we also have. I've actually stolen some of your ideas and started getting folk just to sing songs. But we actually have been also working with folk in the congregation, especially during Black History Month and others, trying to get some more raw footage of some of our folks singing and stuff. Because I'm also big on in certain moments in history, kind of going back to the brush arbor experience for folk when we didn't have nothing but some pots and pans, and we sang a cappella, and getting back to some of that. So I've actually really enjoyed that. Also giving space for some of our folk to share their gifts and talents in a different way. So it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, it is definitely going to be different. And so what just as an aside, for people who worship on Zoom, if you just want to get out of church, there's a new way you can do that too.
Mm.
It's called Zoom Escape. Have you heard of this app?
I have not heard of this app.
What? Man, you're like on Zoom meetings more than I am. You need this app in your life.
Yes.
It's Zoom Escaper.
Zoom Escaper. I'm going to write that down.
So you download it seriously, and then you can add in. I was watching it this morning. You can then add in all the different kind of like sound effects that make it sound like your Zoom is not working. You think that's funny? Listen, literally. So there's a setting to like make it sound like it's a bad connection, and it makes your audio real choppy. There's one that adds in an echo. There's one that adds construction noises behind you. I mean, it sounds so real. There's a man weeping. I don't know what that one is about. Like, why there would be a man weeping near your Zoom?
I don't know. That's a stretch right there.
There's one like that has the sound of someone going to the bathroom, which just seems like that would just be embarrassing. So why would you put that one up? There's dogs barking, the wind blowing, an upset baby. Basically, this is like a real thing that you add in. I mean, the connection one seems like the best one. The neat one that messes the video up, that like freezes you. Like, I'm sorry, I think I'm frozen. I'm gonna go.
Let me call back in.
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna come back in. Okay. Hey, the host wouldn't let me back in. Oh, I was the host. I'm sorry. Well,
just assign that responsibility before you leave the Zoom meeting. That's all. That's hysterical.
this is where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're almost out of it, though. Almost. Almost. Not yet, but almost.
Well, to that point, praying for Tawanda, who is posted in our chat this morning. Good morning to all of you on Facebook Live. That she spoke too soon yesterday. 2 of her family members are symptomatic and have tested positive for COVID. And she's waiting for her test results now. And in a show of social media class, Raphael was the first to respond with his prayer concerns. And that's significant because, you know, the 2 of them, they're kind of our polar opposites in our social media chat and kind of represent the extremes of kind of probably where most of you are who listen to us. But I appreciate that from Raphael, and like Raphael, Tawanda, we're all praying for you and your family. But that is a real reminder that what you just said is right, that we are not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
That we're going to still need Zoom for a while, these virtual worship services, and while people are anxious to open things up and we're beginning to test the waters and what have you, please do so in a very responsible manner.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the other thing we need to take into consideration too, and I'm actually watching this with some of the seniors at my church, right? That as folk get vaccinated, they feel like, okay, we need to go back and start doing stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, this whole swaths of people that have yet to be vaccinated yet, including the fact that the youngest amongst us won't be vaccinated till the very end of this. So while we're getting to adults, we still have not gotten to teenagers and younger children. And so it's going to take some time to get to everybody. So just to be sensitive to that, you know, folk that have children and have other folk that they're caring for that, you know, might still be vulnerable, you have to give them some time to get to this. And even after this is over with, I told y'all yesterday, I'm going to still be wearing masks. I will wear a mask for a very long time. For a very long time.
You'll be like Paul Lawrence Dunbar, I wear the mask.
Yes. I am not going to give up the mask anytime soon because, like I said, you know, the numbers of cases of flu are down. Other things are down as well. And so, you know, I think there's something in this protection that we're using right now that's really helping us in terms of our overall health. And I think that's good for us.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes.
Oh, geez.
This debt we pay to human guile with torn and bleeding hearts we smile.
Well, let me just shout out to Tawanda. I talked to Tawanda yesterday. She didn't mention any of this. So, hey, Tawanda, just let you know we're praying for you. Got you lifted up. And we're going to be checking it, making sure you're okay.
Yep. So, and, you know, and speaking of that, you know, some good news on the vaccine front, at least in Philadelphia. I saw this morning that the vaccination sites are allowing walk-ins now. I mean, that's kind of what we were suggesting to people last week is start showing up to the FEMA sites because I'm telling you, they are throwing several hundred doses away. I don't know if it's daily, but you know, at the end of the day, on certain days, they're ending up with doses that will no longer be good the next day. They're just ineffective. They have a very specific shelf life. So they have now started to open up, and I understand some of the clinics that are offering the vaccine are saying the same things. Take a look in the local paper, Philly Trib, Philly.com. I know that those stories are out there right now, and some of the TV stations are covering it as well. But again, if you have not been vaccinated and you want to be vaccinated, go on and show up. And, you know, and right now in the U.S., we're using Moderna, Pfizer, and J&J. People are probably also waking up to the news that in Europe, they're pausing vaccinations on one particular vaccine, and that's the one from AstraZeneca. That's the same one that I think the same company that had issues in South Africa as well, right?
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah, I think I got to double check that, but I think it was AstraZeneca. But anyway, that's not the one that's being used widely here in the United States. And so, but it was causing some blood clots with some folk.
Right.
And but again, just because you hear the vaccine listen, there are different brands. I mean, it's
That's
like
right.
saying I got a burger and got sick. Well, where'd you get the burger? Well, it doesn't matter. It's a fast food place. No, you need to tell me. Was it McDonald's? Was it
That's
Burger
right.
King?
That's right.
Wherever it was, because all these places are not the same. So
Right.
yeah, good news on that front. Again, check out for, the situation for walk-ins because it is happening right now. And I know that sometimes you get there, and you want to get your vaccine right away, you can't, and it just makes you want to stomp.
Oh, geez. Here we go. Kirk
It
Franklin.
just makes you want to stomp.
Yes.
Makes you want to raise your hands. Makes you want to shout. Stomp.
Yes. Stomp.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't talk about Kirk. I'm just saying what happens when you don't when you get in line and you can't get your vaccine. Makes you want to
I
stomp.
have been down that road, so and that didn't work. I wanted to get a vaccine and couldn't get the vaccine, and still haven't been able to get the vaccine yet, even though I'm supposedly in the category that can get it at this point. But it's very frustrating to be registered in multiple places and just not be able to get that connection. But it's okay. We just keep pressing.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about why you didn't get vaccinated, but okay.
They
We
ran
got
out. They ran out.
Yeah, well, you got those older folk get there on time, maybe early. The old folks, they're like, hey,
I
they said
couldn't help
vaccine
the
at
fact
8.
that I got pulled over by the police on the way over there and
Well,
did not make it there on time.
you should have just kept on going. What was the cop gonna do? Shoot you?
Yeah, that's a real possibility in this day and age.
Too soon? Too soon.
That's
Yeah.
too
All right.
soon. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break, and we come back. Promised you yesterday that we're going to tell you what happens when your diabetes starts making your sugar spike. Sometimes it can make you say the N word. I bet you didn't know that, did you? That your high sugar could actually prompt racist words to fly out your mouth. Don't worry, it was just my sugar. I didn't mean to call the person the N word. It wasn't me speaking. It's like Tourette's diabetes.
Mm.
What do you call that? Tourette's? We got to take a quick break, and when we come back on the other side, we'll talk about that, Ron Johnson, and so much more in the next 40 minutes. This is the Power Hour. Don't you go anywhere.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
Are you looking for a job? Do you have skills in design, engineering, or computer programming? Get ready for Network, a virtual job fair with Technically Media. On Thursday, March 18th from noon to 6 p.m., the employers at Network are looking to learn more than just what's on your resume. Your personality and fit have real weight in the interviews. Technically is a partner of WURD Radio's Livelihood Initiative. Register for Network, the virtual tech job fair taking place on March 18th at WURDworks.com.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We are here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions. And we have plenty of those opinions to share with you each and every day, including why diabetes causes people to use foul language.
Well, so there was a high school sports announcer who I guess took exception to some young ladies in Oklahoma who were on a high school basketball team, and they were kneeling during the playing of the national anthem. And they're from Norman, Oklahoma. And he had some very disparaging words. He did not know he was on a hot mic. One of the great fears of anybody who does broadcasting of any kind. I mean, literally. I mean, trust me, I know. But my man went on to say, F them. I hope they lose. If they're going to kneel like that, hell no. Hell no. And then he called them the N-word. He said then later in a press statement, I think Nick Talaferro must have written this for him since Nick is listening this morning, because Nick is a great wordsmith. He's like an Olivia Pope. He's who you go to, you get in trouble. Yes, Nick, I mess with you. I saw that picture you sent to all of us this morning about me. I'm not the guy from the commercial. Whoop, there it is.
There it is. You're not a part of tag team?
No. No. Don't look remotely like that guy. But anyway, I think Nick wrote my man's comment. He says, during the Norman High School girls basketball game against Midwest City, I made inappropriate and racist comments, believing that the microphone was off. However, let me state immediately, that is no excuse. Such comments should have been uttered. There's no excuse. Such comments should have been uttered. He continued, I will state, he should have put the word however in, but he didn't. I will state that I suffer type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes, okay.
Yes, and during the game, my sugar was spiking. While not excusing my remarks, it is not unusual when my sugar spikes that I become disoriented and often say things that are not appropriate as well as hurtful. I do not believe that I would have made such horrible statements absent my sugar spiking.
Yeah.
You know what that does? That makes me want to stomp. Jesus.
That's terrible. Kirk, my man Kirk. So
what the heck?
You know, I think people are trying to find any good, reasonable health excuse to excuse their racism, and I don't appreciate that, because there are people out there with real health issues that, you know, manage to keep themselves in control and check. And, you know, I mean, when your sugar drops low, people have a tendency to be lethargic, but they don't necessarily, you know, start cussing folk out and, you know, calling them outside their names like that. So, I don't know. I just think that there's, you know, certainly an issue here. But that's just a poor excuse. You're just an ignorant individual. I mean, that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. You're an ignorant individual, and you're a white supremacist, and, you know, you felt compelled to use your white supremacy, and then they're going to hide behind an illness. If you're going to be a white supremacist, be bold and man enough to be a white supremacist and not apologize for it. I mean, honestly, I mean, really, you know, don't, now you're worried about your paycheck. Well, you should have thought about your paycheck before you started uttering the words out your mouth. Now you're worried about, oh, what the impact of this is going to be on my family. You should have thought about that before you uttered the words out your mouth. Was this really that important that you felt compelled that you had to go and begin to utter these words out like you are the purveyor and the social critic that is necessary for everybody to hear from in the first place? Absolutely unnecessary.
He didn't think he was being heard. It was a hot mic to his defense.
No, I understand that. But nevertheless, I mean, look, we see stuff all the time, right? And this is all right. Now you got one of my pet peeves, right? This is one of my pet peeves, right? Just because you see something doesn't mean you need to comment on it. Like, we see stuff all the time. It's like petty people don't. I mean, if your life is insignificant, then you have time to worry about petty stuff. But if your life is not insignificant, if you're trying to do things that are really relevant to the world that's around you, if you're trying to make the world a better place, you don't have time to deal with stuff that you might consider petty or irritating. You just keep it rolling. And so this is part of the problem that we have in communities, white, black, Latinx, Asian Pacific Islander, or indigenous, that folk do not try to live significant lives, so they're consistently worried about things that really, and commenting on things that they don't have to, that they shouldn't have to address. They shouldn't even be thinking about, because they're thinking about more important things in that moment. And that just drives me crazy.
Well,
Like, mind your business, people, and keep it rolling.
well, I'm on diabetes.org.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm under the common symptoms of diabetes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, urinating often,
Mm-hmm.
feeling thirsty,
Mm-hmm.
feeling very hungry even though you're eating, extreme fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
blurry vision,
Mm-hmm.
cuts and bruises that are slow to heal. We know a lot about that. That really hurts a lot of people because that can lead to more severe things, right? Weight loss, even though you're eating more, and tingling, pain, or numbness in the hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see using the N-word.
Nope.
I think that the American Diabetes Association, their page is outdated. And I think we need to start a campaign today to add they need to add the new symptom. May cause you, yeah, they need to have that, like with all the like diabetes meds and what have you, may cause, they have the little thing at the very end, may cause extreme exhaustion. You may stay up late at night, and you may use the N-word uncontrollably. Those little N-words, it was my sugar spiking, y'all. Oh my God, man. Sarah says that she actually, well, she doesn't agree with this. She says that's the best excuse ever. And we'll put best in air quotes. I mean, maybe that's like Trump's entire life can be summed up as it's just his sugar spiking. Hey, Mexican rapist? Just my sugar.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Can we I just want to note something here. Deb Haaland, the congresswoman from New Mexico, was yesterday voted as the Interior Secretary. First time an indigenous person has become a cabinet secretary in the United States of America. It only took, I don't know, 300 years or so after the white folks started taking over their land for them to actually have a significant role in the country that they actually once ran at one point. So I just wanted to note that and demark that in history, and also because a lot of black folk have indigenous blood in them somewhere along the line, so it's a moment of celebration for us as well.
Yeah. Murkowski, Senator Murkowski from Alaska voted to confirm her. She says, yes, the people in my state, indigenous people, really let me hear from them. Like I would imagine so, given the fact you're in Alaska. And
Yes.
I think that you would want to vote for this one if you want to keep your job. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. And yes, Robert, the sarcasm is high today on the show. Biden's cabinet, yes, it is looking like America. And what is Nick Talaferro even doing up this morning?
I don't know. He's going off this morning.
Go back to bed. You have an afternoon drive show. Don't come on here. We don't come to your job heckling you.
Actually, I do listen to Nick's show sometimes, but he doesn't know that I'm out there listening. So,
yeah, but you don't throw lobbing bombs on him. Hello, Radio Land. Ed Minner says it's the Twinkie defense for racists. Like, hey, look. So it's like as soon as somebody starts spouting off a bunch of racist stuff, just start shoving Twinkies and hard candy in their mouth. Yeah, you got to get their sugar up. Speaking of racist, now this could literally go anywhere, right? So whenever if you listen, period, this is for everyone. If you must start a statement with, I know saying this is probably going to get me in trouble, but so literally, if that is your opening at that moment, stop. And don't tell us later it was your sugar spiking. Senator Ron Johnson.
Oh, geez.
Continually puts his foot in his mouth.
That's an understatement, man. He doesn't. He sticks both feet in his mouth, man. And honestly, I think yeah. I'm going to stop there because the FCC might get. But
but see, here's the thing. So I have said repeatedly, you know, my mantra about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is, hate him or not, he was the dude in high school who could get away with anything. Donald Trump could say things to women, do things to women, say things to teachers. He could, for whatever reason, there's that one person in your high school that could always do something that nobody else could do. And then there's Ron Johnson. The guy who saw Donald Trump do it, Trump is now gone, and you're now the upperclassman, and you walk in and you think you can do it as well. And bro, it don't come off the same.
That's
it just does not. So he starts yesterday, and now he's trying to clean it up. But essentially what he said is that the people who stormed the Capitol, the people who ultimately killed Officer Sitnick, and a couple of those guys have been arrested. By the way, one of them is black. One of them black. They got the only black guy at the insurrection. But they're not saying that they're responsible for his death, but responsible for attacking him. They stopped short of a murder charge, right? But he's saying that this entire group of people who stormed the Capitol, he was never concerned because these were not bad people. These were just Americans trying to pressure them to vote a certain. No, bro. The vote was finished. They're not trying to get you. There is no trying to pressure you to vote for anything because you cannot overturn an election. But he then took the unusual next step. This is I know I shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it anyway, which is, it ain't like they were Black Lives Matter people, Asa Khalif. I mean, if they were BLM, then my God, we really would need to be scared. But these were just good old fun-loving Americans. Sure, they say racist stuff sometimes, but that's just their sugar spiking.
So, okay.
It makes me want to stomp.
Okay. So Ron Johnson, the only thing I could use to define Ron Johnson are hashtag, exclamation point, dollar sign, exclamation point, hashtag, to define who Ron Johnson is, right? Second of all, Ron Johnson, what was ignorant about what he said and was that there were 5 people that are dead as a result of that rally. I'm just out of curiosity, but how many people have been killed at Black Lives Matter rallies across the country that were caused by Black Lives Matter folk?
Whoa. Go back. How many police officers? Because if that ever happened, you would never, ever hear the end of this.
Right. But I mean, but this flow with me here for a minute. How many folk have been killed in Black Lives Matter rallies by Black Lives Matter people? And that includes cops. Anybody you can think of?
None that I can think of. I think like in Wisconsin, the kid comes up from.
Right, but he was a white kid that came in that caused problem, right? And
kills supporters of Black Lives Matter. Yes.
Right. Charlottesville, it was folk that were out there, but it was the white supremacists that killed Heather Heyer, right? There have been, other incidents, but people have not been killed.
The truck in Texas that ran over people, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we have this situation because. And yes, Tawanda, I cussed because I'm a cussing preacher. I'm just going to be honest. So it was ignorant. I don't know how the Capitol Police can actually provide protection for him right now. Honestly, I don't. 5 police officers are dead as a result of their actions on that day. The police had to defend the Capitol, actually wound up shooting a veteran who was a terrorist that day, coming against the country that she once sworn to protect. They were rampaging the Capitol. Now, if it had been black folk that had been out there, we wouldn't have had the chance to fire on anybody. We wouldn't have had the chance to run. They would have to start shooting indiscriminately into the crowd, long before we ever got to the doors of the Capitol. So for Ron Johnson to make these statements, a senator at that, to make these statements is absolutely tone deaf and absolutely has deep disregard for the lives of the people that were lost and the hundreds that were injured, right? Because it wasn't just cops that were killed that day. There were hundreds that were injured as well, that cost people their jobs that day as a result of what happened on the Capitol. The trauma that was caused to the members of Congress, both the Senate and the House of Representatives and their staffs, and the trauma that was caused to this country to get up and say what he did was absolutely the height and the epitome of ignorance. Mm-hmm. Absolutely abysmal. And the fact that these institutions, these sacred old institutions, continue to tolerate this ignorance in the 21st century and allows him to continue to have his seat in that place is just baffling to me, and it's just troubling to me in so many ways. Rant over.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. Come on out and become a WURD Radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun. Call 215-425-7875. That's 215-425-7875. Come on out and become a WURD Radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun.
As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium offers COVID-19 vaccines and COVID-19 testing for the week of March 14th. No appointment is necessary. Must live in a hardest hit zip code, and you must be Phase 1 eligible. The following vaccinations take place at the Leah Center from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Sunday, March 14th, for distribution of the Moderna vaccine only. Monday, March 15th, for distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the second shot of Moderna. And Tuesday, March 16th, for distribution of the Moderna vaccine only. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Farmers Insurance. Volume building up out there westbound Vine Expressway. That's heavy 95 out to Broad Street. Disabled vehicle being cleared. Schuylkill Expressway both ways, east and westbound. Still not too bad this morning. Southbound Boulevard Route 1, some slowing broad down through Fox through construction. Southbound 95 also getting heavy Cotman down through Bridge again through ongoing construction. Then again Allegheny through Girard. Slow northbound side, not bad. 55 northbound Deptford into 42, getting a bit busy now. Call 1-888-FARMERS, the switch, and you could save on your auto insurance. What else are you going to do with your phone for the next few minutes? Look at pictures of food your friends ate again. Call 1-888-FARMERS for a quote. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
A cloudy and chilly day today with a chance of some late afternoon scattered light showers. A high of 42 degrees. The chance of showers continues overnight tonight and into first thing Wednesday morning. 38 the low tomorrow, then mostly cloudy tomorrow afternoon and a bit milder, a high of 53. Back into the 50s on Thursday with cloudy skies and a soaking rain that arrives Thursday morning and continues through the day into Thursday night. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Bishop Dwayne Royster along with the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler. Hey, WURD family. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. The deadline for submissions has been extended to March 19th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information to nominate yourself or a black woman-owned business you love. So come on out there. Let's support our sisters that are doing and throwing down in the business world, and let's help them get $5,000 in advertising that will help them to market and grow their businesses in this moment in human history.
$5,000.
$5,000. $5K.
Hey, we don't have time. Well, we don't have time to talk about it today, but there is a story out today in the Enquirer you might want to check out, folks, that says that black-owned businesses in Philly coming out of COVID, I should say, not as bad as people predicted. And I got to believe that a lot of that is just the way in which people in the community support each other. I know that, listen, man, I was watching, like Leslie did a lot of like, hey, we got to go support this person and we need to buy this from them, and so kind of kept us on task throughout the last year. And I would imagine that's been the same for a lot of people, a lot of congregations. I know many have been hurt financially, but others have benefited from the fact that people have had extra money because they couldn't travel. Mm-hmm. They're actually going to church more often because it's virtual. It's hard to kind of miss church when you ain't got to do nothing but get up and pick up your phone, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of congregations are doing better. So yeah, it's a different kind of place. But again, bottom line is, on this event, this is a no-brainer. Women-owned businesses need to be a part of this. And I continue to say, every time you read that live read, just the benefit of several of those businesses getting a chance to be on air doing a pitch. You may not win the $5,000, but you may not need it if you can strike gold in a moment like this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hey, a couple of things real quick. We should probably get somebody on to talk about March Madness at some point. Maybe bring Chris Murray on in the morning to kind of help us understand what's going on with COVID, because a lot of teams have been impacted by that, how it's reshaped, what's going to happen, next week. Everybody's going to be involved, be paying attention. But then also we should talk to Kathia, who's been on before, about the Oscar nominations that are out. Mm-hmm. Got plenty of time to do it. But what's notable is 2 black women are being nominated as Best Actress. And one of them, no surprise, is Viola Davis. And she didn't cry in this one.
And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? No.
Yeah, normally we get that, Troy. But she didn't do that this time. She was super strong. She scared me. She channeled Ma Rainey. I was like, if I was that white dude, she said, I ain't singing nothing until I get my Coke or Pepsi or whatever it was, I would have got that drink too. Mm-hmm. But she was like, for real. But all right, now here's the other one. Andra Day is also being nominated for her portrayal of Billie Holiday. Yeah. So I'm about to do a Ron Johnson. Mm-hmm. I know I shouldn't say this. I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Mm-hmm. But how do you put Andra Day, first-time actress, first-time role, in the same sentence in the same category with Viola Davis?
Well, I mean, but the same thing happened to Jennifer Hudson, right? She won the Best Supporting Actress award for when she played in Dreamgirls.
But she did. I mean, she killed that.
Yeah, but that was her first time up.
Yeah, but it's going to be, first of all, does Viola Davis have an Oscar for Best Actress yet?
No, she's got Best Supporting Actress.
Okay. Bro, it would be a travesty. And I'm not taking anything away from Andra Day. She did an incredible job as a first-time actress, just being comfortable enough to pull that off. But to say that, I don't know, I saw both movies. And I've watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom a few times now, in large part because of the competing roles of Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. I don't know what that movie would have been without the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I saw Billie Holiday. It took me a few times to actually finish it.
Mm-hmm.
The first and only time. And again, I appreciated the story, but all I kept thinking was, man, Diana Ross was like also really good in this role. You remember that?
Yes, I remember Lady Sings the Blues. Yes, Robert Garland just brought that up. Yeah. And Nick Taliaferro is out here trying to start a color war. I'm just letting you know that now.
She light-skinned it. But that's a whole thing. That's another thing. I'm telling you, listen, who are the Oscar, who votes for who receives these awards?
Yeah, it's white folk.
That's exactly right. And typically when white folk are advancing black folk forward, who gets it first? If there's a choice between a really dark-skinned black person and a really light-skinned black person, who gets it first typically? I ain't saying what we do. Yeah. I'm saying in this world where historically, when you look at church services during slavery, white sat in front, their half white, half black children sat right behind them, the mulattoes, the brown-skinned black sat behind them, and the darker-skinned black sat all the way back. Look at what happened in Charleston churches. I ain't making this up. I know it to be a fact. And we've seen it as well with every other industry. If this happens, I'm just saying that would be a travesty.
So... Sorry, there's a thing going on with Nick and Tawanda right now.
Who's watching a few black bottoms? Nick, you are sick. This is why he doesn't do morning radio, because you are sick in the morning. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Let me just say this. We also need to note that Viola Davis now has the most Oscar nominations of any black woman in the history of the Oscars. So she's on her 4th nomination for a role that she's played, that she's been nominated for. She's won 1 time already. And if she wins, she will actually hold the record of the most number of wins for a black woman. The man that owns the record right now is Denzel Washington. He's been nominated 8 times. And he's won 2 Oscars. So just to note that, to give a little bit of black history perspective on that as well.
Well, so I just wanted to bring it up. So real quick, we didn't touch on this yesterday, but we said we were going to. So we got a few minutes. So Harvard University denied review of tenure for Cornel West. Now, what's interesting, I didn't know this until I saw his interview. And what he said is that at Harvard, the actually granting tenure after the review is really solely up to the president. The president of Harvard had an opportunity to simply make this happen. Cornel West is now going back to Union Theological Seminary in New York. He'll have a lot more freedom. It's a great school, but let's be real, it ain't Harvard. And he's making the best out of a bad situation. But he seems to think that a lot of this is around his politics about Israel and Palestine. And, you almost even hate to even bring this conversation up because people have a difficult time separating the political conversation about these two countries and the occupation and anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic beliefs. And part of the reason you have a hard time having the conversation is because you know what? People who are anti-Jewish, who are anti-Semitic, jump in on you and jump in on the conversation and bring that crap in. And it becomes very messy, very fast. So even in his conversation about it, he was extremely careful in how he talked about it, saying that there was another scholar who was also denied tenure, who had similar beliefs, and that there seems to be a growing pattern at Harvard. Have you heard this? And if so, this seems to be troubling.
So what I heard was that when he went back to Harvard, he actually was in a position that was non-tenured. And it was a non-tenure track position that he was brought back into. So part of this is, from what I've heard, was that the role that he was in, the teaching position that he had, was a non-tenure track position. So to get tenure out of a non-tenure track position just didn't make, you knew coming in the door that this was not going to lead to tenure. So now that's what I heard. I mean, I read that actually in an article. So I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing about this. I mean, Dr. West has some very radical politics, some of which I agree with. I'm actually not surprised that he is not getting status in institutions that are deeply concerned. I mean, it's not just about his particular perspective around Israel-Palestine. He also is like an anti-capitalist, right? And so if you're depending on millions and billions of dollars to come in and continue to fund the endowment of an institution, do you want a rabid anti-capitalist on your staff, right? That's a piece to think about as well.
Yeah. Well, but Harvard has that. Harvard has everything. I mean, look, Harvard has the extremes on both sides. You got the guy who wrote the bell curve, came out of Harvard, which is basically saying that black folk, are not intellectually on the same level as white people inherently by birth. And he came out of, Harvard is always known for throwing out the most radical and the most conservative people. And so there's space there, but it does seem to be something different here. I mean, if Cornel West, and look, Cornel West really hurt himself with folk like us during the Obama years. I mean, he and Tavis went too far and never really apologized or atoned for that. But by the same token, we kind of draw the line when you come after black folk for doing things that other people have done or said, and they have to pay more of an exacting price than others. I mean, it just seems unacceptable that a place like Harvard would not have tenure for Cornel West if he wants it. Dude, he's freaking Cornel West.
Yeah, we probably need to finish picking this back up tomorrow and have some more conversation about it, because it's actually interesting. We should try to get him on the show and see if we can get him to come on and talk about it. I think that would be the better way to go. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we should. Anyway, hey, everybody, thanks for checking us out here on the Power Hour today. We deeply appreciate everything that you do, all the people that are engaging us in conversation on YouTube and Facebook, all the various places that you find us on the app, on air. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you, Kwesa, for holding down the boards every day. Thank you, Dr. Tyler, for doing what you do. Nick, my man, good to see you early in the morning. Paybacks are coming this afternoon. I'm just letting you know. I have to disagree. It's not good to see him this morning. Oop, there it is. You make me want to stomp. Hey, stay tuned now for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. And family, do us a favor. Go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Just in case I had